rappers to, Christian families, and their family members are asking them, to make sure they keep it clean when they're rapping, and they've been doing that. So hopefully this is an opportunity for all of them.
Yeah, and I think also too, the good thing about that is it brings back the morality.
It does.
It brings back morality. Just for people and our young people. Our young people are being raised by hip hop. They're being raised by the TV. They're being raised by the culture. Come on, I got to join the group.
So now, Sweet Connection. We are live all the way around, it seems. So now I'm going to pitch it to Daphne, because Daphne has given us.
Wait, I'm trying to get my phone right.
So I don't know who I'm supposed to be, but I'm gonna keep
trying. Be something, girl. Be something. Be you.
So, Patricia, what has been going on in your world this week?
I am 2 weeks since so excited to be back on Sweet Connection.
Yes.
I was like tripping off of the first episode, and the problem with my technical difficulties is I went to the electronics store and got all these gadgets.
Okay.
I don't know how to use my I got an external camera. That don't work. I can't get it on my laptop, right? Because, we got to have good picture quality. Because, HD and all this other stuff. Right. So I got an external camera. That didn't work. I got this tripod. I'm trying to feed from the music page and trying to do. It's just a lot going on. So we thank God for your patience.
And my phone just don't want to do nothing.
Oh, Lord.
And I'm in Facebook jail.
Oh, bless
and
all.
For me, if they had taught me how to use it before I left, I still wouldn't know what to do when I got here. I think the more we do it, the better
we'll get it.
So we apologize for the delay, but let's get right into this awesome topic that Ms. Daphne Hilton has brought to the group and to you guys for discussion on today. Daphne sent the girls,
I did,
a link. And the link was about, the link said, the end of men, how women are taking over. It was a long article, but very, very informative.
Very.
And Daphne had, as we always try to do, find out or talk about, discuss a topic and how it relates, not only to just the present day, but biblically, how does it relate? And so
thank you.
The article was, and we don't want to seem, we got to be careful on how we say it, because it's not a negative connotation.
Exactly.
When we talk about the end of men and how women are taking over. So I want to invite Ms. Daphne Hilton to kind of take the lead, and then we're going to go from here on what her thoughts were first when she saw the article, how she presented it to us, and how we're talking about it for the next few minutes.
Right. Well, the article was, I'm a T.D. Jakes lover, so I listen to him a lot in the morning times. So he was talking about this article that he read in reference to how women are taking over and the end of men, and it came out of the Atlantic. I guess it's the Atlantic Journal, I guess. So it was very intriguing because in today's society, if you really look at corporate, if you really look at, all of the jobs, that are available, there's so many men that are out of jobs and women are working. Women are the ones, it's on, look. Mm-hmm. Women are the ones that are taking the lead. So I think for me, being a Christian, it kind of rubbed me a little bit the wrong way, because what does that say to our men, and what does that say to our families? How does that what is that telling our men about themselves? I know that it's not individually, it's globally. So we can't personalize it because, I got a job where I do this. We're talking global here. So we can't personalize it. We're talking about a race. So the women are rising up through the corporate. The women are really climbing up the economic ladder.
And that's true, but I will say that since we also are linking it to a little bit of historical facts and data, it kind of started some of this exclusion of men, and in particular African American men. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, when the government programs were set up, because if you remember when welfare and all of those social things came along for African Americans, they were really only accessible to African American women.
Right.
If there was an African American male in the home, then they didn't have access to those things. So unfortunately, again, it's a sort of institutionalized way of kind of diminishing the African American male in the home. None of those stats were in that article, but I did find it interesting that later or farther down in the article, when they talked about being in the Rust Belt in Ohio, and they talked about those men who were late on their child support and things like that, and the support group that they had. And basically the class, I'm thinking, because I was confused, I thought it was going to be something positive to help the men, but what it seemed to do is almost rubber stamp the fact that you're no longer valid.
Exactly.
Because, you know, if she makes $85,000 and you make $12,000 a year, $12,000 a year, then what does that say about you? She's the man now.
Exactly.
And I thought that was, to me, it was disconcerting, because what you don't want to have happen is for men to feel like, you know, that women are endorsing that. It's just the way it is, and somebody has to keep the families going in this new economy when men aren't able to have the jobs that they used to have, manufacturing, construction, and then the Wall Street jobs. A lot of that stuff, because of the crashes in the market, have kind of gone away. So I don't know. What did you guys?
Well, Vincent Brock, and I'm so glad that we're encouraging men to please chime in so that we can hear
Hey, David,
how you feel. But Vincent Brock, I think, had a comment to say it's the powers that be have allowed it. And I'm not sure who you are referring to when you are speaking of the powers that be, Vincent Brock. If you can elaborate on that for us, because we are definitely welcoming the comments, especially from our men. Because like Vonda was saying, a lot of this is not coming from us as Black women or women in general. Unfortunately, I do tend to agree the powers that be have kind of allowed some of this to fall into place. Sonia and I were just talking before the other ladies got here. We know that Black women can rise in corporate America and be promoted faster than a Black man.
Right.
Exactly.
White women and their male counterparts don't necessarily have that same challenge. And so we in our homes as Black women and supporting our Black men, where is that fine line between continuing to support almost a dying breed of working Black men?
Exactly.
And that, I mean, it almost seems like they're almost, and not in a negative way, guys. I'm not saying that Black men are late. I'm not saying it from that. I'm saying just from the corporate.
You say first, because you said well first.
Look,
I know.
Well, I guess for me, I would say, again, bringing it back to men and the biblical sense of what a man is.
Somebody wants to know how to read.
I don't remember if it says anywhere in the Bible what his job was outside of the home. It talked about how the man was supposed to comport himself in the home for his family and in the world for his family. So to me, if a man is employed, then that's a good thing. It's wonderful when they can have those high-powered jobs, but you know, for me in the home, remember you are the man. Remember to take a leadership role.
Right.
Yeah. Remember to have integrity and all of those things that go along with making a man a leader, not just his paycheck. That's sort of some of the things that come to mind for me when I think about how can Black men overcome it and how can we as women support them continuing to be the head of our households even when those jobs are absent.
Well, I was thinking, go ahead, Sonia.
I was going to say, Vincent, he's following up with
go on
that.
and read it for us. Sonia, what
You know what, I can barely see. He said something about thanks to Bill Clinton. I think I need some glasses. Well, thanks, Vincent. I realized I need glasses today.
I'm sorry,
I guess the only thing I could think about with the Bill Clinton thing is possibly, you know, the war on drugs and how, you know.
He said, thanks to Bill Clinton, shipped the type of jobs abroad. We basically are a retail nation where it's favorable for women instead of men. That was actually one of the things that the article kind of even talked about. Daphne is going to attach the link to the article when we can. All of our phones are kind of in process right now. But I agree kind of with Vincent that the nature of jobs have changed. And so it is more women friendly. It is more women. We've gotten away from industry. We've gotten away from industry.
Because they call it the post-industry era. And also too, you know, they said that in the article it said that women can sit still
Yes.
Longer, stay focused. Women are nurturers, and those that are in the CEO positions, they said that for men it's control and command.
Yes.
And for women, we nurture. So I mean, if you think about it biblically, the way God made us, women, we are influencers. Men lead by just position, but women, we lead by influence. So they were saying that, to build the working class, because the working class is the nucleus of any organization. So to build that, there was a quota out to reach more women, to hire more women, so that the business can raise the business.
Thanks for the love.
The business can grow, because they're learning. My old pastor said a long time ago, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So even in the work environment, how much I care for you, I want to make sure you're successful. It makes a person want to work better. But if you come in here controlling and commanding, if you think about it, even they said about I think it's 5 or 10% in the higher paying jobs, is still the high jobs. Yes. Women, we're still at, I think 40% is still a man's world
for CEO.
In that area. But they have people right up under them that are women to deal with the working class. And it's so unfortunate, because for me and our families and our men, the article was saying that some men they don't want to go back and retrain and re-educate themselves, because they were so used to the industrial age, the coal mines, the car industry, construction. But my thing is, for a family, me as a woman, I was married, so I understand this. So, and for a family, if my husband made $12 an hour and I made $50 an hour, so what? You still won. And my whole goal is, I don't like, the article kind of offended me a little bit. It gave me a lot of information that I did not know. But it's like, even though that's the case, you're still won. Regardless, you're still one. And if you know this is how it is, the powers that be has structured it this way, I think that we as women need to be a little bit more understanding, because T.D. Jakes was saying, he said, some women, it's like, well, I wear the pants. And he said, well, for men, if you allow that, she's gonna wear the pants.
Exactly. Because we don't want to wear
exactly. But she's gonna wear them. He said, if you allow her to wear the pants,
because somebody's gotta wear them.
Exactly. Well, he said, if you allow them to wear the pants, let the woman wear the pants, she's gonna be the man and the woman, and you're going to be the boy.
Exactly.
Now, Vincent also, and I think this is a good point too. Can you read that one?
Okay, it says, our black men are stars in the arena of sports and not business. Why?
Well,
generally,
that bring me to something that I again heard on NPR. And it was a story on National Public Radio, WABE, about cybersecurity. And how there used to be white collar and blue collar, and now there's something called the new collar.
Exactly.
And
that's
new
the new collar
is about getting those IT jobs and those degrees in computer science, now looking at cybersecurity as a new avenue. IBM now employs, most of their employees don't even have a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity. It's something that hasn't been as glamorous as
they probably have more certifications than anything. I'm sorry, let me fix this.
And not as glamorous as when it originally when computer science was originally hot. So when we think about careers and career training, we do have to think about how can we retrain ourselves and men think about, okay, well, I used to do this, but now let me try this. And if you look at it more of as a renaissance and an awakening, so a new way of thinking about your life, you're not gone until you're gone.
Right.
So for me, I think that you should always be looking at new avenues of certification, of education, to try to get those jobs. And then also, we're not entrepreneurs in the right way. We're not entrepreneurs in the numbers of men aren't as women are. And that's the other way that I think women have started to excel over men.
Yes.
Because we're more willing, and we have had, I think, even before the jobs went away, we've had the ability to get those entrepreneurial businesses started because the men were working.
Exactly.
But now that they're no longer working, sometimes maybe the man has to step into whatever the woman has
to be
going
more flexible.
and be one and form partnerships right at home. So there are a lot of different ways to address it, but you just have to be willing to be open to new ideas, new color, and not necessarily the old traditional ways of doing things.
And Vincent agrees with you. He said right. Okay. We also want to thank Randall Holmes. Thank you so much, brother, for attaching a link.
Did
you find it? No, a different link. BlackDemographics.com income.
Okay.
So anyone who is tuning into this live feed, please, when you have a chance, go in and make sure you click on those links. Again, Daphne will be adding the link to the article that we are actually referring to as well, so that you can see it, because it's a long article. But just to get Sonia's perspective on it, going back to Vincent's thing about black men, why do you feel that our black men would aspire to go into sports, music, rap versus business? What's preventing them?
Me as a recruiter, I personally talk to people every day doing phone interviews, and what I've noticed with men, they rather give up. I've talked to so many men. They're kind of stuck in their ways. They're not willing to leave the land of familiar. This is all I know. This is all I want to know. Where versus women, they're willing. And men, sports, I don't know if it has something to do with ego, stroking their ego, but they're more willing to get involved with that than working on typing or learning, IT or getting some type of certification versus women. Women are more go-getters and willing to learn, willing to fall down, willing to be embarrassed, willing to dust themselves off and get back up, versus men. I think it goes back to the ego, because I speak with people every day as a recruiter, and they'll just rather say, I'll do something else, or I'll find something else, versus going to get a certification that can take them to a better place.
Yeah. Right. And I think some of that goes back to how women were just made to begin with. Because if we are the nurturers, if we are the caretakers, if we are the ones to bolster the family, then we are going to be the ones to let pride, ego, and all those things go by the wayside, because our family has to eat. Our children have to eat. We still have to keep surviving as a family, and I think that that's a part of why we're going to make all those changes and we're going to do all those things, because we're not so tied to ego. We only care about the benefits of our family and making our family move ahead, as opposed to falling down, regardless to what's going on.
And I think that's true, because the article was about men in general.
Right.
We're black women.
Right. Yes.
Who love black men.
Yes.
And I don't mean love. I mean we love you guys.
Yes.
Okay. We can get love, and we can get love for that too. Y'all can get some hearts and some likes up in there, ladies and gentlemen. You can
one of these love.
We love y'all. We love y'all.
Like one of these.
But love you also to the point of wanting to support our brothers out here. The article was about men in general, women in general, but I think there is a special burden when it comes to the black community.
Exactly.
Some of it historically probably coming from how our families were torn apart in slavery, and the men.
Look at the hearts.
Finally, because we give us some love. Because when we go back to slavery and all the way back to history, even though that's not where our story begins, it starts as king and queens.
One more time.
But unfortunately, we're relating back to the part of history
American history, right? It's American,
and we've adapted to that. We've taken that on,
exactly.
And so I think it goes back to there. So even though the article was about men in general, white men, black men, men in general are losing that place in the workforce.
Right.
Women are of all races are surpassing men in the workforce. Our take on it, first and foremost, is how that disproportionately even affects our black homes. Some of it is because black women don't want to support black men that ain't working as much.
One more time.
No, I don't mean financially support. I don't mean that.
Well,
I meant sometimes we have, and we've been labeled a lot of times as bitter black women. We don't want to be helpful. We don't, and I don't think that's the case. So I think at this point we've got to plead our case.
No.
But in general, we are kind of defined. Like, well, it's easier. White women will be more supportive of us, and other people are. That's the argument. So I'm playing devil's. I hope these hearts ain't for that.
Okay, but to me, it goes back to men remembering what their roles are, because if you don't have integrity in your home, if you're not supporting your woman as she's supporting you, if you're not being a strong father figure, if you're not doing those things that help keep the family going as a whole, then I don't understand. I don't think a white woman, an Asian woman, I don't think any woman on this planet will support a man who's not taking those leadership roles in their home. I just don't think they will. I love a man. I love a black man. I want to support a black man. However, I want him to be a leader. I want him to remember that he's supposed to have integrity. I want him to remember that he's supposed to have some knowledge or know-how, and when he doesn't, to seek it. Don't have so much pride that you're hurting your family and you're hurting the women who are trying to support you. There is no way that it's going to work if
that's
you
a hard.
do that.
Sonya, can you see those three?
Yeah.
No, men are.
Wait, here we'll read from here somewhere.
Given the task.
Who's
I
saying
need
that?
some glasses.
Who is that
I
saying?
think we all do.
Who's talking? Who's talking?
I'm trying to
Is
see.
it
Y'all, I'm all up
Vincent?
in my thing. Men are given. This is from.
Satia.
Yeah.
Oh, here, read right here. It is right here.
It is great.
Yeah, because I can't say I got no context. Go, read.
There you go. Can you see?
Yeah, right there. Subscribe.
Because we're trying to make sure that we get the comments. Can you read it, son?
Yes.
You want to read it? Son?
I don't have.
Men were given the
can't
task
see
of
it.
having dominion and subduing. After centuries of being denied that right, we can expect there to be psychological residue. I'm with you.
That's
on
good.
that.
That's a good one.
And so, since she mentioned psychological residue,
That's a good one.
why is it that so many men are reluctant to and doggedly determined not to seek psychological help?
This is tapping into something else.
Because counseling and therapy and even in the church setting can work, but you have to be a willing participant. You can't go in there and automatically sabotage the system because you're not being honest, you're not being forthcoming, you're not telling the truth. You won't even reach down in your own souls and tap into what's bothering you. So until men do that, what are we gonna do?
Okay. Can I say something?
Yes, I want you to
This
say a lot
is
about that.
Please do.
One thing I know, just growing up with a whole bunch of men, I have a lot of brothers. I'm the only girl. And you have to be sensitive to because how they were trained. Men don't
Trained
cry.
from when? Trained from where? What do you mean?
Men don't cry.
But
They
who
don't
trained
cry.
you to do that?
I mean, we as
parents
fathers,
or slavery? What are you talking about?
Parents.
Okay.
Parents.
Okay. In the home.
You a man. You can't be crying. What I noticed, guys, they shut down and they don't want to talk about it. Sometimes it takes them, I know from my experience, a while to even process it, for them to even talk about it. Even my brother, I'm good. Why are you really good?
No.
Because I see that you're hurting, but you won't discuss it. We, as girls, that's what we do. We talk to our friends, we talk to our girlfriends, we talk to our mom, we talk to
And Nika
our
agrees
sisters.
with you. Nika said men are afraid to be vulnerable in
But
order to
I
deal
wanna- but I
face
wanna
to
hear
face
from
with
the
their
men.
truth.
I want to hear from the men about
Because they deal face
because
to
we
face
know
with their
why.
truth.
We know that they won't do it,
But
but I
we
want to
want-
understand why.
But we
Why
want
do
you all. We
not do
want you to, to be open. We are strong black women. Yes, we can run things, but we don't want to. We want you guys to run. We want you all to lead. So be open enough to talk to us, so we can at least, see what's going on. Because a lot of times we're not mind readers.
Well, my thing is
Okay, well, you said you want to hear from the guys, so let me just throw this in because we still. Vincent Brock, first, going back a little bit, white gives power to distribute perceived wealth. Yeah. He also said it has nothing to do. Again, we're kind of. I'm sorry. Most people, by and large, hired by way of cronyism. It's by design to put black women in power because it destroys the dynamics of the family structure.
I agree.
And again, does that not go back to slavery?
But that's what we were talking about earlier.
That's what we did.
About that.
Now,
Yeah,
David Wilkins said, in this new tech age, man, women, child, people getting out of prison as an opportunity to become entrepreneurs and will equal the playing field for all by being creative.
Okay.
So that's true too. And we're trying to keep up. We thank you guys again for
thank you so much.
we're trying to keep
This
up.
is great.
Continue with your likes and your hearts. Because we're trying to
good.
keep up and get you guys thoughts. If we're missing some feeds, some comments in the feeds, you guys keep chiming in so that we can know. So we definitely agree. It is a play by the powers that be to keep a black woman in power over a black man to continue to destroy a family. But then how do black men take that power back?
Yeah.
We can't keep using that.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
often women.
Right. Once you identify the problem, now what?
What's the solution?
Yeah, now what?
Now
And don't be so closed where you got strong black women want to walk on your side to help you through the process.
And my thing is this: you don't have to talk to me.
No,
Seek
talk to
help from
somebody.
somebody else. But then here's the
To
other thing.
somebody.
Alan said we are not afraid. This is from a male perspective.
Okay.
We are trained from little to deal with things so we
There we go.
internalize it. And that's true.
And not to talk
and so
about
what
it.
we're saying is now that we know that's the age old
Don't
response
talk about
to it, and that's the age old excuse for it. And I won't even call it an excuse. I'll just say it is what it is.
But it's ingrained in their DNA not to.
But we're not going to get anywhere if we continue. If you do the same thing, you keep doing the same thing, you get the same result.
And that's insanity.
So, that's insanity. So for me, now that we know that what it is, now that we're speaking about it, what can we do?
Well, Satia Freeman is also, from a female perspective, girls are taught to talk, express emotions, and nurture each other.
Exactly.
Boys, on the other hand, are taught that they must be able to stand on their own.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate,
I
Satia.
agree with that.
Well, I'm going to disagree a little bit. I'm going to disagree. I'm going to disagree in the sense that historically that's true, but as women are becoming more powerful, we are empowering our young girls.
Right.
So I don't think young girls are not. Girls now are taught to stand on your own. Now, for a couple of reasons. Number one, we have a generation of empowered mothers. Number two, because black men are failing to provide, we have to be able to stand on our own. So where it used to be that black men were empowered, and this is just my opinion, where black men were empowered, they were staying in the home. Think about Good Times and James Evans. Even though they were in the Chicago projects, he stayed in that home. He didn't leave his family. So at one point in time, historically, black men had a few families. They'd have a whole family on the east side, but they didn't leave none of them. They was going from house to house to house, and that's how some of our grandparents
were.
And they was helping. Yes, that's how we were doing it. Now we can't find them. So now by design, by no other choice, women are having to stand on their own. Women now, a lot of times, don't want to express themselves. They don't want to be, because we feel like we got to be strong, we got to hold it down. So now we're in trouble. So
Girls trip.
Yes.
Was that not her thing?
Exactly.
She did not want to express herself.
Exactly.
She
played the role.
She
Even though she was hurting, she played the role.
And that's going to mess you up. You're going to have to express how you feel and face your truth. If not, you're going to keep going around and creating issues, problem after problem, generation after generation. Speak whatever it is, face it before it's too late.
Right. And also too, I think this is a great conversation because we're communicating. A lot of times, that's one of the biggest issues, even in relationships, is communication. It's like, I'm good. Even in a friendship, like I have male friends, you good, I'm good, knowing you not good, but you don't want to talk about it. Okay, fine. Even my nephews, it takes them a long time, auntie. Okay, this is something that you've been dealing with like 2 weeks ago, but now you want to talk about it. You're not going to talk to mom about it, but you're going to talk to me. At least find somebody to talk about it.
I will say this. Men know how to do it, and I'm going to tell you the arenas that they know how to do it in. If a man is on a team, a sports team, he first has to know he has to know the rules of the game. He has to know what his position is, and he also has to know how to communicate with his team to score those points.
And know your position.
This is good.
And they play their position. They know it and they play it.
Now, Nika, I couldn't read nothing else, girl, but I read this. Men embrace his excuses and women find a way.
Wow.
Look, I go, girl, I saw that, honey.
Wow.
But definitely, you said you're going to piggyback off.
Yeah, but go ahead and fix it.
Well, and then in the other arena, there are men who are in corporate America who have made it to the management status. Now you're managing teams of people. Okay? And so you have to
But ain't managing your home, though.
Because you have to communicate in that arena, or you would not be allowed to continue to be a manager.
Right.
So you know how to communicate effectively in those settings. Please bring
Help us,
those
Jesus. Help us, Holy Ghost.
Home.
Help us, Holy Ghost.
Bring them home.
Bring them
Help
home.
us, Holy
Because
Ghost.
the same things that are required
To
be
one
on
home,
a
though.
team,
Not to a whole bunch of different homes.
Yes.
Bring them to one home.
Yes, please, just one.
Just one.
But the same things that are required to be a part of a sports team, the same things that are required to be in management and to manage teams of people, those things have to be employed in the home.
Yes.
Okay, now.
Yes, so how do we transition
I
that
was
from
listening
workplace?
to TD Jakes.
All right, TD.
And he said, men, that's what they know. They know how to play the game. He said they know how to win.
Just make it a game at home then. Pretend. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know, right? He says that's what they know how to do is play the game. They know their position. They when they make points, they score. I got a good job, I score. I got a good woman, I scored. He said, but when things are going bad, they're looking at this still as a game. I'm not doing well in this one. I'm not scoring well
but
in
then
this.
the team rallies
And those
together.
are things.
And the coach
right.
that was a
So the
play.
things, what you just said, the team rallies together. You can't go out there. Nobody's an island. You can't go out there by yourself. The team, if you're married, husband, wife, well, family, if it's your girlfriend and you're going to be married, talk to them. If it's just your friend, you got to have a team and not just all testosterone members.
Now, Percy Lindsay, I'm sorry, he said we need a man. We need a man in this conversation.
Okay.
Well, be the man in this conversation and tell us what you think. We love you too, Vincent. He said he loves us black sisters. Tony Fontana says, let men raise your boys. And and this way.
We agree.
Yeah, we want to.
Yeah, we want to.
Wait.
We want to.
Yeah,
so wait a minute. What does that mean?
What does that mean, Tony? When you say let men raise your boys, are you saying? And I don't know what you're saying.
That's a relationship. Something happened.
Because it's
happened,
the stereotypical stuff that happens where you do have those women who are so mad at the man, still hurt, probably still want him, and if he moves on, or even if he rejects her in that way, then all of a sudden you can't see your kid.
Right, and that's foul. That's not cute, girls. Don't do that, women. Don't do that, women.
But I have talked to men who, once that happens, will not continue to reach out to the child because
they frustrated and be like, bump it.
I told him, I said, look, does your son have a smartphone? He said yes. I said, if he has a phone and he's able to receive text from you, you call him and you text him every day, even if he does not answer your calls. Because again, men can't take their wounded testosterone feelings and
rejection. And it's the rejection. Also.
And if we're wrong, correct us because we're not men.
You gotta keep trying. Because we do, as a mom, when your kids reject you, do you stop trying?
No, we can't.
We don't have the luxury of that because somebody's got to raise them and somebody's got to get them from, you know.
And Tony says, back to when you were talking about the game plan, men were coached to play the game well. So
Tony.
That is true. And I will say, unfortunately, when we go back to the lack of home training, not to put nobody mama down, I'm not saying it that way, but the lack of training or upbringing of our boys, they weren't coached to be able to play the game. We haven't equipped them with the tools. So I will say that. I'm going to give that one to you, Tony. I'll give you that one.
It has to start somewhere. So it has to start with the Tonys. It has to start with the men now who are hearing this conversation, who are watching this conversation, who know what these issues are. Somebody has to start it. You can't keep perpetuating the same thing.
Okay, another man, Derek Whitlow, and we love our men.
Derek is
none of
all
this
in, y'all. Look at all that.
Okay, there is a systematical plan by the forces of European America to de-empower men of color of their self-esteem. And I'm going to give you hearts and love on that one. I can't even, but you got my hearts and love. But this is now present everywhere. This is not present everywhere. There are still men that are leading their families. But if men are no longer leading the families, then the pressure would be deliberately placed on black men. Black women have always been used against the black man.
Right.
But black women need to become part of the voting process and other methods of helping to level the playing field in the workforce or in corporate America as well.
I agree.
Encourage black men to get vocational training, which is what Bonnie was talking about, because there is a lack of education in industrial arts. Historically, black men have worked with their hands, not in an office setting.
Exactly.
The other things you are referring to involve basic training of men while they were young.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
We have tons and tons of comments, y'all. I cannot get up.
Well said. And so, and that brings me to the point too that they're now trying to get vocational education back into the schools and having those tech schools to go to after you graduate from high school, because not everyone is on that college track. We knew it back then, but now we've created a society that says that we all have to be on that track. Everyone is not going to be on that track. Right. So that was a very good.
Thank you so much.
And as a recruiter, who was
Derek?
Derek, I'm always encouraging people, black men, white men, whoever, people in general, to better themselves, to, in all areas of life. If they don't know, I try to tell them, you YouTube this, you YouTube all this fighting. YouTube, how to better yourself. YouTube someone that's in that position. Find out what their perspective and what they know about the role, what they can show you, and research. Reach out to some of the companies, because it's not going to come to you. You got to go and find it. Nobody's handing you anything. Nobody's handing you anything. It's not going going to come to you. You need to go and find it. There's so many people out here. Go and stand out by their car. Don't get locked up. But go stand by their car and get the information.
Now you have our information. Daphne has this wealth of information. Yeah. Reach out.
This is a recruiter. If there is a man watching this right now, Sonia is a recruiter. If you're a man looking for a job right now, you can definitely touch base. Yes. This woman has been recruiting for several years. She does it for several companies. She's very well versed in that. And so if you're looking, we're not here just to we're not just to talk about it, but we're trying to provide resources. Exactly. Sweet Connection is about connecting and not just to talk about it, but to provide some solutions. Let us to engage so that we can find, like you said, if we're just talking about the problem, but we don't have any way to fix it, then we're just part of the problem.
Exactly.
I'm going to say Tony Fontana did follow up with what he meant about dads.
Yes.
Find men. If their dad isn't available, find a man.
Yes.
This is what Tony.
I
Thank
agree.
you, Tony. Find a man if their dad isn't available or not man material.
Okay.
What?
No, really.
That's
That's
true,
true.
Tony. And Derek pretty much said the same thing. Derek also said involve other men in the family, help in raising the boys in your family if there is not a father.
Exactly.
And so we do need to, as women. So thank you so much for that.
Because we really are. We are a village, and we have to always go back to our culture. We are a village.
Yes.
You walking down the street, you got your pants hanging down, pull your pants up.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if that's not your child, mister. It's somebody that's still in reflection.
But you know, we've gone from it takes a village to raise a child to don't say to my child.
But you know, I love that.
You're right.
I love the fact that he said family because, you know, I call him my brother cousin because we are first of us, we're only children, but he's like a brother to me. And you know, my ex-husband is a little bit older, and so he's raised 3 boys, and then my son will be the 4th one. And you know, I can say they both bring a lot of testosterone to that relationship, which makes it difficult for them to relate. And so I don't blame either one of them, but what I've had to do is reach out to, you know, my brother cousin and say, hey, you've got a stepson, you've got a son, now I need you to talk to my son. And so what he started doing, he would FaceTime my son every week. They would set goals for the week, and then they would talk about what happened, what goals did you accomplish, which ones do you need to work on, what are the new goals for the week. And believe it or not, my son's whole demeanor changed. And it was funny to me because what he realized was that now I don't have to carry these burdens by myself, that there is a man that I can talk to who is willing to listen to my point of view, but to also give me some feedback to help me, you know, on a day-to-day basis to get me from one end of the week to the next end of the week. And so I think that's a wonderful point because you start in your home, you start with the dad, then you start with the nuclear family, then you start with those generations outside of your home. And then if you have to go outside of the family, do that too.
Right, because Tony also said not all males are men.
That's right.
Regardless of age, education, or economic status. And that's so true.
Agree.
Randall also made a very good point that I want you guys to talk about. Our young men are used to seeing women resolve the problems and issues that happen in life. So when they get older, when crises come, they let the woman in the life take the lead.
Take the lead.
That's a hard.
So
what do we do? I mean, how do you feel about that, Sonia?
For me personally, I'm going to step up to the plate because at the end of the day, my son, I have to provide, things have to be done, and I can't wait around for his dad or any other man or any other person to figure it out. It's on me to figure it out for him. So I totally agree. It's like, guess what? I guess the saying is like with black women, okay, whatever, I'll do it. So, okay, I got it.
The sad thing that happens with that, because we all, I'm sure, do that. The sad thing that happens, though, is there's this resentment that's built up.
Oh my God, yes.
Not just from men, but then our sons start to get mixed messages, and then they don't know how they feel about strong women. They know they need us. They know that they need that help from us. But just by the very nature of being a man, they know that there is something, though, intrinsically wrong with the woman having to be the problem solver all the time. And I think that, too, then begins to complicate the relationship with their fathers and other men. Because why don't I have this coming from another male? Why is it that my mother has to be there?
And another male perspective, love you guys. Alan says it's the lack of control. Most mothers have quote unquote control dealing with the children. And I'm assuming you're talking about if you're not married to the mother, but I guess it could be even if it's not. When a man doesn't have control and every decision is a fight, many men will shut down rather than have his emotions being controlled by someone else. who has the final say on a child's name or what child eats or what the child believes. And that is something that we as women, just like men are coached to play their role, we have to do a better job as black to stay in our lane and allow a man to be a man. So Alan, I totally appreciate that comment, and I agree, and I hope that women who are taking, when women who have a man in their life, allow him to be that man. Now, a lot of what we're talking about too are those women who take control because they have no other option. So you can't let things fall by the wayside.
Right.
But if there is a man who is trying to be a man, let him be a man.
The reins and let him be that man.
So I agree with you, Alan.
You support him, you assist him, you help him. That's what it is. I'm very old-fashioned. I'm quite sure some of you are. You guys are the same way. I believe that there are roles in any type of relationship or family, and I don't care how much money she makes. I don't care how skilled she is. It doesn't matter. The man is still the head.
Yes.
I mean, you can help him, you can assist him, but men, you got to also be open for help. Be open to receive it. Be open. Because sometimes we get, that old-fashioned way of thinking. I don't need nobody to tell me what to do. I don't need nobody to show me how to do this. I got this. Well, in this society, in this today's society, you don't have this. We don't have this. We have to always be that team. I was listening to somebody on YouTube. This is the era of information and technology.
That's true.
Well, how many guys have that type of skill? Those that have not gone to college or got a certification. You're used to working with your hands. You're used to working with your body is physical and you are strong. So, do you have those type of skills? If you don't, your woman or friend may have that. What's wrong with saying, hey, show me this? Show me how you do this.
Okay, we have a comment
you know what I'm saying?
by Anthony Rogers.
Go ahead, Anthony.
And I'm just going to, because y'all ain't seen it yet, so I'm going to let y'all natural reaction come out. I don't know if this is a joke or what, if you mean this or not, Anthony. Anthony Rogers said white women would never say this about their men. Go ahead.
Anthony, you're wrong. You're wrong. And we're not dogging black men.
Thank you.
At all. I support black men. I go over and beyond every single day.
I got
over and beyond every single day, taking the step to try to even find brothers jobs, trying to help them fix their resume when I don't have to. Trying to send them links. Trying to prepare them for interviews with the hiring manager, pretty much telling them everything what they're really going to be asked to prepare them to be successful. So I would never down a black man. I just want them to live to their full capability. Like, just move. Stop making excuses. Move forward. Go get the help. Talk to somebody. Use the resources that are available to you to be a better person, a better man, a better black man. That's all I have to say.
Okay, Anthony. I love you. Anthony, I love you. But listen to me. The article that we're referring to, it is a global. It was talking about, not talking about black men. No. It's talking about all men. Yeah. And it's not just to the United States. It's global. Now, I work in an office, and I'm the only black woman, and it's all 5 white old men. And to hear some of the conversations from my coworkers that are white women that work in another cell or in another office, it's the same conversation.
It is.
Unfortunately, because like they said, systematically it's set up, not just what we're talking about black men, because we love our culture. It's systematically set up for the man, the working class man to fail. That's what the article is talking about, the working class man. Let's take race out of it, because white women, they do talk about their men. They do, because I've heard it in my office. Well, I don't understand. He just won't listen. He just, and because we have several that are very D personality. If you ever heard of the DIS personality, very dominant. They don't want to hear what you got to say. They will listen to you, but their mind is already made up. This is how it's going to be, even if it's taking us down the road of failure. That's just how it is. So I understand your comment, but we're talking about black men. But believe me, those comments, those conversations I have being had in all races
Yes, and I'll
about
just,
men.
Only thing I'll say
But
about
we
that-
love you.
Yes.
Yes.
We love you.
The only thing I'll say about that is, I don't know, maybe he's dating a white woman and that's, his experience with her. Most of my clients have been, Caucasian, white women, white families, in interior design events. And I hear it all the time.
Exactly.
I hear the same kinds of arguments. I hear the same kinds of comments made. And so I think that it's easy to throw that out there because, again, that's what we're trained to do as men. Men are trained to do, to be defensive, to deflect, to make it someone else's problem and not to receive and accept how they're culpable in whatever it is that's going on. And so for me, perhaps, but I haven't found that to be true, and maybe that's what he's accustomed to or that's what he's dealt with, but I totally disagree with that.
Yes.
And another thing, Anthony, we are here. We're sitting here supporting you guys. I just don't want you to think this is male bashing because that's something that we don't do.
We love you.
We love our
and maybe
men.
you came in on the video a little late.
Yeah, so I really need you to go back and listen to the beginning.
Yeah.
We love you. What we're doing here is to encourage,
empower, enlighten,
Why?
and educate.
Because these articles, they're not just we're not just reading them. This is a perspective of everybody.
Yes.
At how they look at men, especially our black men.
Yes.
Because this is a love for us.
And we're trying to figure out how to fix the problem.
How to
So
fix
again,
it.
that's
We
why
got
we're
your
going back.
Let me just say this. We got your back.
Yes, we talk about the problem. You have to identify the problem in order to fix the problem.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, we got you.
A part of what I think it was you, Pat, you were saying that in response to the comment about letting men raise the boys and finding that, and Daphne was even saying you have to support the man or let the man be the man. What do you do though if you're dating someone or if you're in a situation with someone who's not your son's father, who may want to help but then he doesn't know how to, when he hasn't invested in trying to meet that child where he is and try to understand that kid as a young male and then meet him where he is to guide him to that. See, that's sometimes the problem too. Women are being protective of their sons because, I don't know, is it a bad choice that we're making personally? Or, what do you guys have to say?
I think we're all culpable.
Yeah.
We're all culpable. Yeah. And that's where, unfortunately, and I was talking to Dexter about this before we had this conversation, before we came on to do the live. When we talk about a group of people, when we talk about black women, when we talk about black men, there are so many subsets within that large group.
Right.
If we talk about white women or white men, there's so many subsets. So if we talk about black women, there are some black women who are hood rats.
Right.
When we talk about black women, we got black women who are successful entrepreneurs, and we have black women who are supportive of black men. We have black women who bash black men. We have so sometimes when we say black woman, a person is only identifying with the black woman they know, and don't understand that it's general.
Exactly.
When we say black men, some black men are great fathers, some are deadbeat fathers, so are white men, so are Asian men. And so we have so many subsets. We all have to be accountable. We have to take accountability for the role that we play. Just like Vonda was saying, when it goes back to teamwork, everyone has a position, and in order for a team to be successful, they got to play the position. A center on a basketball court can't play a power forward and get out of position, because now the center the power forward don't know where he's supposed to be, because somebody else is playing his position, and so now you lose the game. All right, with the hearts and the love, we got to take that same mentality into our homes. Like Vonda said, you do it at work, but then when you come home, you forget your position. Not just men. I'm talking to women, us as women too. Because women are getting higher positions in the workplace, they running stuff at work, they think they're going to come and run that same ship at home. That's when you got to sit back in the cut and chill, ladies.
Even though you want to sometimes.
Let your man
Even though you want to
out.
Exactly.
And if he doesn't have all the skills, help him, encourage him, and support him so that he can make some decisions. Don't say, well, you don't know what you're doing. I got this. You don't know how to do this. I got this. Then help him say, baby, okay, well, if you're not good with financial planning, let's get a book. Let's work on this together. If he's willing. If you got a good man that's willing to do that, ladies, y'all got to sit back in the cut. You can't run everything. Find your position, play your position, and then your team can win.
Yes.
It's not about looking like you're winning. It's about winning.
Right.
Everybody want to post stuff on social media about like they looking like. You can be booed up in the picture and going through
and be
all kind of
That's why I
separations and
say
divorce and
whatever.
Don't just look like you winning.
Win. Exactly.
And it takes teamwork. You don't go to your job talking to your boss crazy. You don't go to the white man talking to ladies.
Right.
So don't come home to your man talking crazy. Give him his due respect. So we're saying that from the beginning. But that goes to a man. When we even go back to the Bible says the man should be the head of the house.
Right.
But a woman is to follow a man as a man follows God.
Right.
So you can't lead me if you don't know where the H-E double hot sticks.
I think I started out by saying the traditional role of the man and what it is required to lead the home in those traditions. Say anything about what your job is, what your education is, and all of that. God spells it out.
Right.
So can we figure out what that means and take that as our guide?
But I wanted to make a comment on what you were saying about a son and the guy's not his father and the mom not relinquishing, I guess, control.
Well, and what I was saying also is how what the man's approach is to the son.
Right. Well, I think that woman and the man should have a discussion. But also to trust what you've already placed in your son, because kids they know, they sense a lot of things, and the first thing they'll say is, well, Mom, he can't talk to me because I don't like what he's saying. But at least allow that relationship to develop with supervision, of course, if that's how that woman feels, but allow that relationship to develop, because I'm quite sure there's certain things that we as women can't teach our son that this guy really can. So we got to allow that, baby steps if that's the case, but allow it to happen. Because as a young person, they'll sense it. Even my daughters, and they're girls. Some things I can't tell them. I can't talk to them like, mama, whatever. So what I do is I said, okay, go talk to your cousin, or go talk to your auntie, or go talk to the youth specialist. And the first thing, one of my daughters said, oh, Mom, I can't talk to her because she ain't saying nothing.
Oh my.
I'm like, okay, very good. Because they know, because what you placed in them, what did you teach them? Because they don't want it, because when a child's so much around you, you become very familiar. And it's numbing. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. But when they hear that same thing from someone else, it's like, oh, my mom was telling me that. So allow that whatever relationship that guy and the son is trying to have, allow it to happen. Even with supervision. Even with supervision.
Now, Stacey, a male perspective,
to
your point, says it takes time before bringing a man around your children.
I agree, Stacey.
Yes, I totally agree. And that's coming from a man.
Although Steve Harvey disagrees.
Yeah,
I don't agree with Steve Harvey, but go ahead.
That's coming from a man. A man is saying, basically, don't bring every dude you just met around your man till you know if he's good father material.
But we talking about if they are engaged or a long-term relationship, that type of stuff. That's what we're talking about.
He also suggested I don't know about this, but have your male son join rightofpassage.org.
Okay, I know about that.
Thank you for that.
I know about Right of Passage.
Elaborate on that.
What is it? I really don't know a whole lot about it, but I heard of it because a friend of mine, I'm not quite sure he's watching it.
Right of Passage.
Some paperwork on it because it deals with young boys. It's the Right of Passage. It's an awesome program. I got some paperwork.
I need to look into
Thank
it.
you so much, Stacey. Thank you so much, Stacey.
We love you, Stacey.
Yes, and Derek also chimed in. Instead of fighting against each other, use the system against the system.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who's in corporate America. Just work together in the home.
Work together in the home.
And I'm going to take that and segue back into something we talked about last week, if it's okay.
Yes.
So we talked about the whole R. Kelly thing. And it was funny, again, NPR. Rose Scott has a program, and they did an in-depth program about the R. Kelly situation and kind of how it developed over the years, the things that were swept under the carpet and weren't really dealt with back in the day when these things first started to happen with him and young women. And I think right now, unfortunately for R. Kelly, but fortunately for the women, is that he's getting a little bit of the get back for old and new. And then there was a woman on there who was speaking about it from this perspective. She was saying that we talk about Black Lives Matter, right? What about women's lives matter? This conversation won't change And these kinds of things won't cease to happen to women until women start to matter across the board to everyone.
That's good.
Not just
That's
to women, but to men,
to everybody,
to everyone.
And I'll pull even from that to say, our children's lives matter.
Yes.
We have, unfortunately, we do have a generation of women who are empowered and are doing well, but we also still have that subset again of young people who have no parenting skills.
None.
We have 35-year-old grandparents sometimes.
Yes.
You know, and unfortunately, you have, like Stacy said, a blind man can lead you into a ditch. If they don't have skills, if they don't have education, and then they're bringing in another generation of children, then our sons get lost. And no one is teaching them how to deal with emotions. Right. No one is giving them, someone else earlier, because we've had so many comments, and this is awesome.
This is amazing.
But someone was saying earlier, teach your children to read.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to go get an IT degree, someone was saying, an IT certificate, if Johnny can't read.
Right.
So we've got people, we've got men, grown men who are coming out, whether it's in prison or uneducated. But we also look at our public school system, some of our school systems, they are socially promoting children to the next grade, grade, and they're coming out of high school with unable to have basic skills in order to go. So then where do we go back and not lose our children?
But it goes back to culpability, because I remember with my children, I was reading to them in utero.
Yes.
I know that's funny to
No,
everybody.
no, we did it.
But I got the, you're being white, and your
I
kids,
get that.
your
I
kids
did
are
that.
dirty.
The music and everything.
Exactly.
But I'm saying, though, we have to be culpable for the things that we reject. So when you see someone doing that, when you see someone trying to give their kids those advantages, we need to embrace it as a people and say, hey, maybe that's something I need to do. Like Oprah, I always give babies and baby shower gifts and birthday gifts. I give books. I had a family member one time, the kids cried because I gave them some books. Okay,
And
it's serious.
But let me say it to the books. I don't know if y'all watch the Carmichael show, if anybody watches that show, but it's a great black comedy. It's not going to be coming on anymore, but they deal with a lot of social issues. And the kids, grown kids, gave the mother a book for her birthday. She didn't like the gift. It's a grown woman. Loretta Devine plays the mother, and David Allen Greer plays the father. And everybody was like, black people don't read? I don't know why y'all giving books. She wanted, now her husband gave her a Kindle. She was like, I can watch movies on this. That's the mentality. It talks about
So
what that is.
I'm thinking that she just didn't want a book in her hand.
No. Black people don't read. And they were talking about some of the social stereotypes of what black people don't do.
They don't read.
They don't swim. They ain't got no.
They
don't ski. They don't do any of those things.
Oh my God.
Those are some of the social stereotypes.
Yeah,
so going back to that, we do have to start, and we have to be accountable. And it's not just because. Let me say this. Going back to our black men, it is not just because there's not black men in the home. It's some women who ain't handling their motherly duties because they too busy trying to still find themselves. They still out here.
Say this. You have an opportunity now in the age
losing my ring.
In the age of information, everything is not spelled out. Some of us women have had to have a lot of different women step into.
Oh my God!
That's my
takes a village.
My mother died when I was 5. Then her mother took over. But then a lot of times I was with my father. But my grandmother and her teachings were it was the through line in my life. And then I watched this one aunt with her husband and this one aunt with her husband. And I kind of picked and chose the things that I liked from all of those examples. To craft the kind of wife or the woman or
that
the girlfriend or the mother that I wanted to be.
But
and
also
so I think men can do the same thing.
But also too, we are in the era of the World Wide Web.
Yes,
there's no excuse. There's no
excuse.
And I wanted to piggyback on what you said about young men or men in general, not being able to read. Even the article stated that. They said that these men who were laid off from their blue collar jobs, sixth grade level of reading. And they were so afraid or embarrassed to read in class because evidently it was some type of group session that they had. Some of the guys were embarrassed to read because they only could read at 6th grade level. Yes. And we're not talking about black men. These are men in general.
Well, the Rust Belt, the last time I checked, was where most of the folks who voted for that person.
Number 45.
Number 45.
Who voted 45. And they mostly were not African American.
No, and they were blue collar.
Right.
So
Derek Whitlow, great points. The civilization is judged by how they treat their women and their children. Teach our children to balance their time. They should not just be able to watch TV all day. Then they will have time to read. That is so true. But you know, it's so much easier to sit your child in front of a TV and not have to parent. That has nothing to do, again, with even being a single mother or a single father. We've got to be parents. Stacey King also has a great point. Stacey is our male friend. They are pushing the children through the schools without giving the full educations to those who are struggling. There are women that are pushing men out of relationships and say they can do it by themselves. I gotta give it to you, Stacey. I gotta give it to you. And again, that's what
Stacey, we gotta bring you on one day.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
I mean, strong woman syndrome across the board is a true thing.
It's across the board. It's across racial borders.
Because in that article, it named women from Asia. From France. From, the French
Rico,
woman who was saying the second citizen or the second something, the woman who wrote the book in France, who women were loathing their daughters for their femaleness, basically. And so, it's across the board. This strong woman syndrome is now something that is taking over because women have been put into these positions. And so then what do? Because it's not a traditional role for us.
Exactly. We both, men and women, have to relearn some things. We've got to. Men, you are just as responsible of relearning, re-educating, readapting.
Exactly.
Just like we as women. It's not fair for us as women to expect a man who is already inherently difficult to adapt. To adapt everything, and we're just gonna keep doing us. That is unacceptable. That's when we go back to not playing your position.
Exactly.
But just like men want women to be supportive, and men want women not to be so nagging, and men want women to stay in their lane, then you've got to do what you've got to do. That's true teamwork. And so this is where we come in to work together again to win.
But can we do that?
Win?
Can we?
I'm hoping that this conversation is starting.
I think we can. If we continue to have dialogue like this, I think we can. But we also have to put down the flesh. We got to put down the barriers and the borders and be willing and vulnerable. Like Nika said, some guys, it's hard for them to be vulnerable. But guess what? As women are empowered, sometimes it becomes hard for us to be vulnerable.
And I'm a witness to that.
But if I'm your woman, if you can't be vulnerable with me,
it's a learning process, and everybody's learning curve is different. It is. It's different, and we have to be patient.
And
men have to be patient. Women have to be patient.
And we all have to be working towards those goals. Everybody has to be trying.
Yes,
everyone has to be trying.
Right,
ladies. The men weighing in today.
Yeah, that was awesome.
You
guys did awesome.
This was great.
So the last, Derek Whitlow, you hung in with us pretty much the whole time. Thank you. His final thought. I'll say Tony Fontana's final thought. Got to love smart, strong, beautiful chocolate women. Keep up the great work, ladies. Praying for you. Thank you so much, Tony. We appreciate that coming from my Caucasian brother. I do appreciate that, sugar. Yes, we love you, baby. And Stacey, thank you so much. You've had some amazing comments. Men and women have to know how to handle the gift that God gives. If we don't, God will remove that person.
It was one more.
Oh, was it?
That's okay.
Okay. No, that's all right. We've got some great comments.
We did today.
Stacey and Derek and somebody else. Who was it? You did Stacey.
We must value our culture.
Derek.
We must value our culture as people of color rather than thinking the grass is greener in someone else's culture. Exactly. If men are defeated, then our women will fail as well, and vice versa.
And that's what's going on.
Black folk, wake up, because we need each other. That's a great way to. We do need each other.
We do. And like they say, if black lives don't matter to us, they can't matter to anyone else.
Right.
If women's lives don't matter to us as a people, then they won't matter to anyone else.
Right.
If our children's lives. So basically what I'm saying is, we have to, as Derek said, value ourselves and our own culture, and it starts with us. You can't look for other people to give you what you're not giving to yourself.
Exactly. Right. Because if you don't identify what love is, you always accept someone else's definition of it. Okay, so if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. My son always tells me I'm his own personal Lana Van Zant, because I'm always coming up with these one-liners. But if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. We don't want to be a lost generation. We don't want to just be flailing out here. So when we talk about enlightening, empowering, encouraging, educating our brothers and our sisters. It is a panel right now of 4 women, but we're here not just representing us, the good side, but also the bad side.
Exactly.
We ain't got it all together, and we're still working on those things. But we want to work with you and not against you, so that we can build better homes, better families, better children, because then the next generation is even stronger. We got a lot of stuff that we've got to fight against, that we've got to come against, but it shouldn't be each other.
Right.
And that's what we're saying. We're hoping to invite some men on to join the panel for our next conversation. That's going to be good as we continue to enhance our technological knowledge. See, we need some ICT certificates.
Yeah,
we're struggling just on Facebook
with this stuff.
So as we continue to grow our technological abilities, then we'll be able to increase the view of the people that we can invite on.
And we encourage you all to inbox us or send us messages about topics. Not the Facebook jailbird.
Reach out to them to get in touch with me.
Your name is.
And you're on Twitter, though. I mean, you're on Instagram.
Yeah, me too.
What's your name on Instagram?
I don't know.
Jazzy like me.
Jazzy like me. Yeah.
JAZZY LIKEME. That's how you get in touch with Sonya for right now until she gets out of Facebook jail.
And let us know what you want to talk about. If there are topics that you find interesting, or some articles or stories in the news that have come up that you're like, okay, the next time they go on live, I want to be there with them and talk about that. Please submit that to us.
Please submit it to us. Patricia Lee, Daphne Hilton.
We'll also attach all of our social media links into the comments, so that'll be a lot easier for you guys. SBM Sunshine.
SBM Sunshine.
We'll attach all social links. You guys will be able to see that. But we're looking, and a final note, we are already in preparation of looking to have an actual live session. 2018, the first of the year. We want to take this and actually touch and agree with you guys and go live in Atlanta. Not Facebook Live, but actually have a half-day conference where we have men and women talking not just about relationships, health, fitness, finances, spiritual, having vendors come in so that we can help to support our entrepreneurs who are out here and these business people. So we're looking at right now in the process, if you are interested in even participating in the event, in the live event, we'll continue to come Facebook Live every month, and we'll post up when our next show is. But the first of the year, we're hoping to start 2018 by touching and agreeing and meeting you guys in person. We'll give you tons and tons of information so that you can get a heads up. So if you're out of town and you want to come and start off the year with us in a sweet connection and make a sweet connection, you guys can do that in January. And so we'll start sending out information to see how many people are interested so that we know the size of the venue that we need to get, because we want to be able to accommodate all those who are interested in participating. So start giving us your feedback now. Let us know if you're interested so that we can get a venue that will accommodate you all, so that we can have entertainment, news you can use, education, enlightenment, empowerment, all of those things we want to bring. And we want to be able to see you guys touch and agree again, so that we can continue to share. So it's going to take a few months to plan. That's why we're starting now.
It's going to be really
but
awesome.
We're going to continue to grow the sweet connection virtually. And Daphne really wants to do a live session once a quarter. So we're going to start January 2018 is our plan, and hopefully be able to move it around every quarter so that we can make it more convenient for you guys to attend.
Also, don't forget to like our YouTube page.
Yes, please.
Please.
A sweet connection.
Find us on YouTube. Also, you can find Patricia Lee, Daphne Hilton, SBM.
Sunshine.
Vonda Dickerson. Please look us up, y'all.
And they're tagged here.
Please inbox us. You guys, we're here for you.
Yes.
We're here for you. We're here for you.
And you guys are here for us because you actually helped to bring us together to talk about topics that we went over. This is great. Today was awesome. Episode number 2 was great. I can't wait to see how the next one continues to grow. If you like this, tell somebody. Because you know we spread the bad stuff.
Tell somebody.
And then tell them to tell somebody. Tell everybody to meet us at the Sweet Connection, because it's getting live. It's getting live. We love you guys, and we pray God's continue blessings.
In the
it is so
sweet.
Parting words, Sonya. Because Sonya ain't gonna get to say nothing else for a little while because she in jail. She in jail on
Just
Facebook.
reach out to them if you all need help
And
with resumes. Instagram, Jazzy,
Like
me.
me.
I can't
Jazzy
remember.
like me.
But reach out to me and I'll definitely help in any way that I can.
Yeah, we're here.
All
We're here
right.
for you. Love you guys.
I love you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.